Hey heroes, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. We're here with another custom factions video that you can replicate yourself in Age of Wonders 4. Today we're looking at the Lord of the Rings universe. We have 5 races: the Númenóreans, Dwarves of Khazad-dûm, Harfoots and Halflings of the Shire, the Elves, and the Orcs. Starting with the Númenóreans that we've seen in the Rings of Power series on Amazon, the Númenóreans were led by Queen Regent Muriel, and we saw her people were experienced horsemen and seafarers. They had highly advanced technology and knowledge in arts and science, including pharmacy, embalming, blacksmithing, and were amazing builders. Their body trait is tough, which gives all their units +2 physical defense, while their mind trait is water adaptation, which allows you to travel faster through swamps and gives the ability to build farms on swamp tiles. Their culture is a highly developed society that strive for harmony, giving bonuses based on their alignment. As you've seen from the series, we've selected experienced seafarers, which makes fisheries much more productive and will make you a beast on the seas. Their capital, Armenelos, is a great example of why we picked the Great Builder's trait as well. We've selected the Tome of Zeal as the first Tome of Magic, which is an Order Affinity book. Finally, Queen Regent Muriel is a champion leader equipped with a lance, which starts the hero off with a horse mount. We'll look at the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm next. They are almost the prototypical dwarf that you've seen in most games. Strong in body and character, grudge holders, stubborn, secretive, and fiercely loyal. We've switched the base body trait to Bulwark, which grants the unit defense in both physical and magical attacks when in defense mode. We've selected the Underground adaptation for the mind trait, which gives faster movement speed underground and the ability to make farms there too. Like most dwarves, we've selected the Industrious culture, which gives bonuses to production and is great for battle too. Dwarves are great builders and runesmiths, and the Tome of Rock was selected for the first Tome of Magic, as we saw Disa, who was able to sing and communicate to the mountain. So, although we talked a lot about the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm, we don't see Durin fight. So, I selected the next famous dwarf that I know of, which is Thorin Oakenshield, as our champion leader, equipped with a hammer and a not-so-oaken shield. Looking at the Halflings next, the Halflings are a friendly, happy-go-lucky, peaceful people who normally shun fighting but are incredibly courageous and are uncanny marksmen. We selected the keen-sighted body trait, which increases ranged accuracy, and the elusive mind trait that will allow you to be more mobile and may be great if you're skirmishing. We've selected a feudal society, which gives bonuses to food production and to damage when fighting adjacent to each other. Chosen Uniters are those that strive to build a realm based on cooperation, and the Adept Settlers Society trait will encourage having multiple cities on the map. The Tome of Root will heal, poison, and hopefully immobilize your enemies. We have Gandalf the Grey as our Wizard King hero, who wields a spirit staff. Next, onto the Elves, led by the warrior commander Galadriel. Elves are tall, agile, graceful, wise, fair, and immortal. As we've seen in the series and in the movies, the Elves have great eyesight, so we picked keen-sighted as the body trait, and defensive tactics as the mind trait, which gives bonuses when fighting adjacent to each other. Like the Númenóreans, the Elves are a high culture with society traits of devotees of good and ancient wise ones, because Galadriel was so zealous in stamping out all traces of the Orcs, and the Elves have been around since the beginning of time. The Tome of Faith was selected as the first Tome of Magic, as they're great healers and is in the Order Affinity. Finally, we have early Galadriel, a champion ruler equipped with a sword and shield. We'll last look at the Moria Orcs, who are cruel, sadistic, black-hearted, and vicious. They love their explosions, are adept miners, and the early orcs are burned by the sun. We've picked the strong body trait, which gives increased melee and ranged damage, and don't count any orc out of the fight. So we gave them the tenacious mind trait, which halves damage penalties from taking casualties. The orcs are a dark culture that will raid, pillage, and swarm their enemies. So we picked prolific swarmers and ruthless raiders as society traits. Ruthless Raiders, by the way, gives your starting champion 2 random hero items at the start of the game, making them stronger. The Tome of the Horde is a natural first tome of magic choice, which will ensure that you deal more damage directly and by always having more units than your opponents. Finally, I chose Azog the Defiler rather than Adar because the only way you can have an elf leading orcs would be as a Witch King champion, which doesn't make sense. Azog hasn't lost his hand yet and rides a warg while wielding a lance. So, those are 5 custom races for the Lord of the Rings universe in Age of Wonders 4. I hope this gave you some ideas and enjoyed this video. Check out my other custom race video based on the Elder Scrolls universe and my other future videos on Age of Wonders 4. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.